Do we have a live stream? We have a live stream. Copying the link for the patrons. Good morning, everybody. My name is Bear with BearIndependent.com, but you already know that because you're here. We're going to close this. Excellent connection. Thank you so much, YouTube. I live for your approval. You are the best. Concurrent viewers, 0. Fabulous. I love it. I think the Bear Nation will be coming in here shortly as we just shared the link. Let's go ahead and turn on screen share, pop back over here. We've got a random call coming in behind us. No worries. So, let's see. Today's show is for the 5th of March, 2021. Freedom through compliance, which is everybody's favorite thing. You know, listen, you can be as free as you want to be as long as you just do what we tell you to do, which is the American dream as I understand it. Question mark. Good morning, the Patriot Peasant. Ark John. It is what it is. Good morning, Jimmy Kirkpatrick. How is everybody else? I'm assuming, yes, my Patreon link did work. Cool. Bombara, greetings. Greetings, everybody. So, I gotta quit alt-tabbing. There we go. So, segment 1, Texas found its nutsack. Segment 2, freedom through compliance. There is a huge loot box on Patreon. We're going to come back and talk about that in a minute. If you're new here, please subscribe. That helps us get around the YouTube algorithms. If you give this a thumbs up, that helps get around the YouTube algorithms. And if you share this content, that circumnavigates all of their algorithms. Submit your intel to BearIndependent.com or use the contact page on the website. And our backup channels are Patreon. You can just go to Patreon, search for Bear Independent. You'll find us there. And it's not an I love me, so you should love me too and give me $1 page. There's between 30 and 100 exclusive pieces of content per month there that never see the light of day here on YouTube. So check us out there. You can also check out the Blue Collar President channel here on YouTube. That is our legit backup YouTube channel. And don't worry, we have lots of other irons in the fire that if we're ever deplatformed because we spit truth, we have other places to go. So, segment 1, Texas found its nutsack. Stop alt-tabbing, Bear. Roger that. No more alt-tab. Got it. Good morning, Peaches Rambo. Now that is a great name. They drew first blood. Darren Kroll. I'm not here to save him from you. I'm here to save you from him. You're telling me one guy can take on the entire Army National Guard? Yes. Yes, I am. Aaron Goodman, good morning. Oh, Homie Biscuits is here. Good morning, Homie Biscuits.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Also, the Stalwart Peacekeeper is here. Good morning, Stalwart Peacekeeper.
Good morning.
Wow, some of these comments can speak. It's fabulous. Good morning, Dudley. Andrew, Stephen, Badger. Good morning, brother Badger. So, from theblaze.com, Texas drops coronavirus restrictions. This is not news, but it is newsworthy, so we'll talk about it. Interestingly enough, Texas drops coronavirus restrictions, opens all businesses, and ends statewide mask mandate. And here's a picture of Governor Abbott in a mask. I want to say things that probably aren't very nice to say about people, especially the governor of Texas, so what a cuck. Anyway, Texas is fully reopening and the statewide mask mandate will be rescinded this week. Quote, effective next Wednesday, all businesses of any type are allowed to open 100%. Good news, small businesses. Your masters are now allowing you to work again. Yay. The governor said at a news conference announcing an end to restrictions imposed to slow the spread of COVID-19, which is interesting that we would have actual health mandates about something that's designed to crash economies, not make people sick. Abbott said declining hospitalization rates across the state and increased distribution of virus vaccines were reasons to end the coronavirus restrictions. My words are not tremendous this morning. He said, quote, Texas is in a far better position now than when I issued my last executive order back in October, Abbott explained. He indicated that if a private business still wishes to limit its capacity or enforce other virus safety precautions, the business would be free to do so without a government mandate. Quote, it is their business and they get to choose how to operate their business the way they want to, Abbott said. At this time, however, people and businesses don't need the state telling them how to operate. At this time, they no longer require the state to tell them how to operate. Now, I realize that on the freedom spectrum, I'm like all the way over here. I'm so into freedom that most people who are into freedom think that I'm some kind of dangerous maniac, because I'm like, you know what, you do you, I'm going to do me. I don't need anybody else's approval or permission to live my life, because we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their creator, not the governor or the government or anybody else, with certain inalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, do whatever you want to do as long as you're not harming somebody else, and the pursuit of happiness, like to run my businesses without requiring the permission of somebody else. So, thank you, Governor, for finally acknowledging that at this time, however, the people and businesses don't need the state telling them how to operate. This is one of the reasons I cannot stand, I abhor executive orders and executive authority, because they didn't need to be told how to operate in the first place. If you believe in capitalism in the American way, then let the free market operate. And yes, we could argue that we no longer have a free market because of the oligarchy and the massive corporations, and you'd probably be right, but that's a different conversation. The point is, if you leave the people alone, they're much smarter than their government masters. They will figure it out. Oh, we've noticed that people don't come into our shop because we're all handling food and not wearing gloves and wearing masks during the pandemic. Maybe we should do that because that would help our bottom line. That's up to the business. It's not up to the government. But I digress. So the point is that Governor Abbott over here has decided that now if you're in Texas, you have his permission to be free again. How tremendous, how fabulous. 378 people, currently on 131 likes, $5 in revenue. Thank you for the $5 bill. Who was that? Who was that? Michael Martinez. Good morning, Michael. I appreciate y'all. Let's see, what else we got? Poll from theblaze.com. In the last month, Americans' comfort with the resumption of pre-pandemic activities has taken a huge leap. For the first time since last year, more than half of all Americans feel comfortable with the idea of eating in a restaurant. Well, and here, of course, we have a picture of Dr. Fauci. And this fella right here, looking smug, has done an excellent job of brainwashing the masses into feeling unsafe because of a virus that has a 99.9-something% survivability rate. So, good job. Now, I'm just saying, if you have some tinfoil handy, slap it on your dome. But if you had, I'm not saying that the government is actually run by reptilians. I'm saying that if it was run by reptilians, this guy looks like a prime candidate. Like, he's definitely not a low-level reptile. He's not a worker drone. He's like, not the queen, but maybe like one of the queen's handmaidens.
Who was the dude in Men in Black that had the big old ears, the like rat-looking dude?
Yeah.
You know?
Whose head grew back?
Yeah.
That guy?
He looks like that
he's
guy.
He's the guy from Men in Black with
Yeah.
The fence.
You're right.
The
You're
fence.
absolutely right. Thank you, Homie Biscuits, for
You're
that
welcome.
wonderful commentary.
You're welcome.
Now for Weather on the Sevens with Homie. It gonna rain. All right. Back to Phelps with traffic. There ain't none. Okay. Copy. So,
There's chickens in the room.
there are chickens in there. Not for long. I am on a rooster murdering jihad right now. You hear how quiet it is? Yeah. Me too.
But
Don't make that face at me. Listen, they lived a good life. Their death was quick and clean, and I feel much better about it. So, the signs are increasing that the American public is becoming more and more comfortable with the idea of returning to normal activities like eating at restaurants, going shopping, going on vacations, and attending movies at the theater. According to the Morning Consult tracking poll, Americans' comfort with engaging in many activities that have been taboo in the age of COVID-19 took a huge jump in February because people are finally starting to realize, meh, you told me the world was, you told me the world was gonna end, and it didn't end. And now this is not negating the fact that yes, several 100,000 people have died from COVID-related complications. I'm not taking away from the fact that people have died. we could argue, and perhaps should argue, and have argued in the past, the accuracy of those numbers, because if somebody has congestive heart failure and diabetes and then gets COVID was the coup de grace, but it wasn't the thing to put them in a bad position in the first place. Well, whatever. I think people are going, oh, it turns out this actually is a sham. I would like to actually do human things again. So, how interesting. Vaccine progress sparks optimism amongst Americans. 0 cares were given. And Michael Moore is still horrendous. By the way, you have links to all of this in the description on both Patreon and YouTube. Appreciate y'all, Bear Nation. Michael Moore rips Texas for dropping mask mandate, suggests withholding vaccine from residents. Well, except for the poor and people of color. STFU. Look at this guy. Now we're taking advice from this dude. I mean, obviously we're not. This guy, it's, you know what it is? It's just sci-fi morning. Because he looks like Jabba the Hutt. Look at this dude. I mean, obviously, it's not very Christian of me to tear other people down. I'm just saying, health advice from a guy, like, when do you think that, has he ever touched a kettlebell? Has he ever shouldered a rucksack? Ever? Like, if he has a treadmill, it's covered with size 9X clothes. That's all I'm saying. Left-wing filmmaker Michael Moore took to the state of Texas to the woodshed after its announcement earlier this week that it will be dropping its COVID-19 mask mandate and allowing businesses to fully open. And unfortunately, in the age of new media, tweets count as news. So here's a tweet from this butthole. Texas, we hear you. You didn't want to be part of our electrical grid. Clearly speaking about something he knows nothing about. Ask me how I know. I built a large portion of that grid and grids elsewhere in the United States of America. And now you've removed your mask mandate and are allowing large crowds to gather. We hear you. COVID is a hoax, so you don't need our precious vaccine. We'll send it to people who are saving lives by wearing masks. Now, I'm not in Texas anymore because the father saw fit to move my big dumb ass to Oklahoma. But you know what? I don't think your vaccine is precious anyway. So if you want to shoot that garbage in somebody else's arm, I'm all for it, bro. You go first. He was far from done. In a follow-up tweet, Moore revised his initial statement acknowledging that yes, we must and will find a way to vaccinate the poor and the people of color in Texas. To Texans who say, hey, it's not me, it's the governor. Well, then impeach and remove him. We're tired of this. Don't mess with Texas. Happy to oblige. STFU. This guy's sucks. Sucks. So, you know what doesn't suck, though? The Slim Kit. The Slim Kit.
What's that?
It's a kit that's slim. It's a new product.
Does it make you skinny?
Yes, it does. This guy, Michael Moore, needs 9,000 of them to slim him up a little bit. This kit is the antithesis of Michael Moore. So from refugemedical.com, also available at Bear Independent, you can get the Slim Kit, which is right here. And what this is a vacuum-sealed IFAK. If you watch this little demonstration right here, it's vacuum-sealed, so that it can slide in between your hard plate and your trauma pad inside of your plate carrier. Now, this is by popular demand. We've had a lot of people ask for this kit, so we put it together. Navy SEALs and certain SWAT-type people have been doing this for a good long while already. But we've had enough of you tactical badasses out there in the Bear Nation say, hey, I want one of those, that we made one of those. Actually, we made more than one. So good news, you can actually acquire one if you'd like to. Today, and today only, you can use promo code SLIM15 at either website, bearindependent.com or Refuge Medical. You get 15% off of it. And I got one right here. So this right here is it. Let's see. If I go to over here, I stop this, I grab this, I do this, boom, like that. Then, see this right here? See, it's incredibly thin. Incredibly thin. It will slide behind a 10 by 12 plate, no problem. Okay, and so it's got quick clot, Z-fold combat gauze, a 4-inch fold flat emergency trauma dressing, twin pack of high fin chest seals right here, a nasal airway right here, a 14 gauge decompression needle for your tension pneumothorax right here. Yes, that's right. That's right. It's a badass kit. It's not a pretend badass kit. Survival blanket, because you're going to get cold out there when you're lonely. No, actually, that's to help reduce the incidence of hypothermia, because it's easier to keep the casualty warm than it is to warm them back up again. And blood loss matters for lots of reasons, primarily because it's the chief means of conveying oxygen around your body so that you don't die. But also, the flowing of that blood helps keep you warm. And so you have a half-life on your clotting ability. For every temperature that 1 degree of temperature Fahrenheit that your body drops, the amount of time it takes to form a clot doubles. So if you're already dealing with egregious bleeding, it's worth having a cheap little survival blanket so that you can throw it over the casualty so you keep the casualty warm. There, that's a thing you know now. Compressed gauze right here for wound packing in addition to the combat gauze. Flat duct tape because it sticks to everything, including blood, sweat, and tears. 2 5x9 abdominal pads and 2 BZK wipes for if you got to take that 14 gauge catheter and stuff it in your chest or your buddy's chest. At least it'll be nice and clean. All right, and so that's the slim IFAC. Now, this does not include, because it's only this big, it does not include a tourniquet or shears, because the tourniquet and or shears should be on your kit somewhere where you can get to it with both hands. Okay? So we also have available as an add-on what we call the stud, which is the shears tourniquet utility device, because everybody needs a cool acronym. And you can get this in black or coyote. You can add this to your order, and it has a Gen 7 cat tourniquet. It has a pair of 7 1/4 inch North American Rescue EMT shears and a TQ, soft TQ holder right here. You can add that at checkout. BearIndependent.com, RefugeMedical.com. Promo code is SLIM15. We'll get you 15% off all this stuff by popular demand. We appreciate y'all. Bear Nation, y'all rock.
You could be a slim stud.
You could be a slim stud, that's right. You know, maybe your weight loss plan isn't going as well as you'd like it to. Maybe you're rolling around looking like Michael Moore and you just want to be a slim stud. For the low, low price of $99 minus 15%, you too can be a slim stud. Look at you, babe. You're so good at sales. You're so good at sales. And again, here's it bouncing in and out of L plate carrier O.
But it also works great like in the back of your seat, like in a little pocket.
In a briefcase, in a backpack, in the door pocket of your car. Also good for maritime ops because it's vacuum sealed, so, you know, moisture, dirt, debris, not a problem. You know, it's a slim kit. It's max 3/4 of an inch thick, and it easily fits behind a 10x12 plate. So, very, very cool. Do we still have a live stream? We still got a live stream. 713 concurrent people here. Hey, what's up, Keith Cronk? Good morning, Black Sheep. Sergeant Storm, Shalo, ha, 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 ha. Cat, good morning. Badger, Loomph, Loomph. Okie, good morning, Okie. Dudley's here. We'll look at those comments go. All right, so Governor Cuomo, who's also terrible. Cuomo announces IBM blockchain vaccine passport scheme for sporting events and theaters. Never mind the fact that this guy all of a sudden is apologetic about the fact that he accidentally has been manhandling women and kissing them. Oops. I never meant to cause anybody any harm. Okay. Sure. I believe you. I gotta be honest, I'm very happy that this D-bag is getting Me Too'd. I'm just like, yes, please, the full force of, and let's be honest, if he actually did something, which I'm predisposed to believe that he did because I don't like the man, but if he actually did something, he deserves due process. But gosh dang, let's start that process. Like, get this guy. GTFO, bro. All right, Governor Cuomo. Embattled New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced his state would be installing a digital vaccine passport requirement to attend sporting venues, movie theaters, and some businesses in a March 2nd press release posted on his website. Cuomo's administration intends to implement the Excelsior Pass app created in partnership with IBM. We are putting guidelines in place to ensure individuals attending events involving larger gatherings have tested negative for COVID or have been vaccinated to avoid an outbreak of the virus, said Governor, who claims Excelsior Pass will allow his state to fast-track the reopening of these businesses and getting us one step closer to reaching a new normal. I'm not really a fan of the new normal, especially when it's being peddled by Cuomo and IBM. And,
let's fast track his investigation. How about that?
Yeah. The Vaccine Passport Initiative, once decried as a conspiracy theory, has since gained global traction and is rapidly expanding in different incarnations throughout the world. In January, France announced, under the banner of contact tracing, it would begin requiring its citizens to scan QR codes on government-developed apps when entering any public-facing business. Similarly, in America, the Vaccine Credential Initiative, a consortium of American behemoths such as Microsoft, Salesforce, Oracle, and the Mayo Clinic, announced the Smart Health Cards framework to be rolled out with the Commons Project. Also, anecdotally, kiss my hairy white ass. And here's why. Because I don't trust Cuomo as far as I can throw him, and I'm pretty sure I could judo throw this guy across my porch without a problem. And IBM has this strange, often underreported history of tracking people for nefarious reasons. Which brings us to this Wikipedia article right here called IBM and the Holocaust. Interesting. The last thing I want is IBM telling the government who I am and where I am. Now, this is a book that was written by Edwin Black. You might still be able to find this book. I don't know. I have a copy of it. This was actually brought up on our Patreon live stream last night, which was a good catch by Chopper Steve on the Patreon live stream, or Patreon Zoom call, rather. Lung butter. But IBM has a proven history of working with tyrants. Not really interested in this. The long and short, and you can read this article for yourself. You have the link down below, and I highly recommend that you do. The long and short is that without IBM's punch card machines, the Nazis would not have been able to as efficiently categorize, track, and exterminate their scapegoats and their political opposition. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm high on adrenochrome, or there's too much tinfoil wrapped around my head and it's restricting the flow of blood to my frontal cortex. But I could easily see in today's political climate how folks like us could be considered the political opposition, the undesirables, the unwanted. And given IBM's history, which is not really a stellar one in my viewpoint, the last thing I want is them involved in tracking people, especially when it relates to whether or not you're taking the vaccine. Because I'm not doing it. And so sooner or later that might come to a head, and if it does, I'll be sure to live stream it for y'all. It'll be really, really interesting. But as of right now, no thanks, not interested. So over in Israel, from Haaretz.com, Israel rolls out green passport for vaccinated. It's a security disaster. Nice. Information security experts reverse-engineered Israel's coronavirus vaccination certification app and discovered that despite already being live, it's exposed and even dangerous. Cryptographers and information security experts who examined the official mobile app for Israel's Green Pass, a government-validated certificate for Israelis who have received both doses of the coronavirus vaccine, have found a string of flaws that pose a threat to its functionality. By the way, government validated. Remember the opening of the show? I don't need anybody's approval or permission. I also don't need to be validated by the government. Thank you very much. The government derives its just powers from the consent of the governed. I do not consent. And I really do think, and I had no intention of going here right now, I'm still researching this. This was also brought up on the Patreon Zoom call last night. But peoplesrights.org, Eamon Bundy. Very interesting. And I'm not saying that I support or don't support this because I don't know yet. But I am saying maybe you go check it out and do your own homework. But very interesting when the government shows up and tries to tell private citizens what they can or can't do. These people at peoplesrights.org show up and form a wall. a hedge of protection, one might say. And then now all of a sudden the government realizes, oh, we're not dealing with an individual here. We're dealing with a group of people that are coordinated and are working towards a common goal. And in many cases, this group, peoplesrights.org, as I understand it, has been able to make the government stand down and or negotiate. That's a good thing as far as I'm concerned, because the government, at least, is supposed to work for us on our behalf as our representatives. Very clearly they don't do that anymore. But if we can hold them accountable, hold their feet to the fire, and not allow them to separate and segregate individuals, that's a very good thing. And it amazes me that they, the big they, want everybody to be in the smallest box possible as an individual, right? It's all this identity politics is pandering to the lowest common denominator, which is one person. However, they have zero respect for individual rights and liberties. Therefore, ergo, does not compute. 404 error. Doesn't work. But this People's Rights group, I'm still researching it right now. You might want to go check it out. Tell them that Bear sent you. And give me your thoughts on it, honestly. So back to the Israel thing. The point here is that their green passport is in effect. If you want to go to the movies, if you want to go eat dinner somewhere, if you want to go be a normal human, you have to have received both doses of the vaccine and have your green passport. And now, obviously, they don't have the constitutional protections that we do. And one could argue, and I have argued, that neither do we really right now, because what matters is whether or not we're doing it, facta non verba, and we're not. We're not upholding the Constitution as the highest law of the land. But they don't have those constitutional protections. So the government gets to say, hey, you want to go do human stuff? Get 2 doses of this vaccine. Here's your card. Now you can do whatever we allow you to do. Nah, thanks, bruh. Nah, thanks, bruh. We still got a live stream?
I think so. Yeah.
The powers that be haven't kicked me off yet? This is cool. Can the tactical toddler apply a cat tourniquet yet? Yes, you can. Good morning, Reese Herman. I know Reese Herman from the way back. Andy Barnes, what's going on, brother? Not one more inch. Jay Moore, shalom, brother. Dave Goss. Arkansas Living. Look at that butthole right there. Arkansas Living. Hey, if y'all aren't subscribed to the Arkansas Living channel, you're doing life wrong. You're doing life wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm not judging you. I'm just letting you know it's time for a little bit of a course correction. Do better, Bear Nation. Do better. Also, quick plug, I will be in Nashville this weekend for a 4-hour comprehensive Stop the Bleed class. You can find these at refugemedical.com. And there's still some slots open for Nashville. So if you got nothing to do this weekend and you're within 3 or 4 hour drive in Nashville, why don't you come on out? We'll teach you how to not die. It's going to be a blast. There'll be plenty of time to hang out and whatever. I'll be there. I'll be assisting in the instruction as well. So if you want me to hurt you by putting a tourniquet on you, I'll be there. So we got classes in Nashville this weekend. Then we got another class in Cartersville, Georgia. And that is Sunday, April 11th. And there's a morning class and an afternoon class in Cartersville, Georgia. And then we've got an Indianapolis class on April 25th, morning class and afternoon class as well. The cost of the class is $350. That includes a $115 value TCCC trainer kit right here, which you can see. The cost of the class includes a North American Rescue TCCC trainer kit, which will be retained by the student. That's yours to keep. It's not mine to keep. And the idea behind that is force multiplication. Now that you know how to not die, take your stuff and go teach other people how to not die. Your mag, your church, your small business, your community watch, your neighborhood, your best friend, your grandma, your toddler, whoever, right? So part of this course, the cost of this course includes that trainer kit. Whereas many other courses out there have a comparable cost to this, but don't include any of the training materials. And this course is derived from our 8-hour TCCC tactical medicine. You will be taught medicine at this class, but it's an abbreviated version of 4-hour Stop the Bleed. And we've had a lot of people go to the class and they're like, this is, and I mean like military, law enforcement, EMS, doctors, nurses, public safety, emergency management personnel who are all like, hey, I take a lot of classes, and this is the best effing Stop the Bleed class I've ever been to. Thank you for doing this. And I'll hang my hat on that. It's the best class that I know of. It's not me up there telling you about how cool I am for 4 hours, and oh, by the way, here's a tourniquet. It's real instructors with real credentials teaching you how to really save a life with your first aid kit, with your IFAC. And we start the class. Statistically, 50% of the class dies at the beginning of the class. By the end of the class, 100% of the people live. And that's the goal. And it's a very easy metric to follow. Did everybody die? No. Did everybody live? Yes. We're good. And guess what? You don't get to go home until you know how to not die. Because I've had to pull a few people aside and go, hey, you need some help with this. Let me help you with this. Because it matters. It matters. I mean, these kits have saved 13 lives thus far because people knew how to use them and they had them. So having them is one thing, knowing how to use them is another. Now, before we end the show, can you do me a favor? What is that?
Super chat.
Super chat of what?
$50.
Who sent me $50 hairs?
Knowledge 85.
$450. Knowledge 85. What is that for?
Good morning, sir. Hope your day is going well.
Knowledge 85, my day was going great, but that certainly helps. I appreciate you very much. Very, very much. Thank you. That's absolutely awesome. Can you do me a favor, honey?
Yes.
Run upstairs. On the printer should be the paper copy of the report. I need the silver linings. I done forgot about it. Thank you so mucho. So in the meanwhile, I want to talk to you boys and girls about team-5.org. I was recently blessed to spend about an hour on the phone with one of their people, Eric, and these guys and girls are awesome. Thank you. If she can't find it, that's a good option, though. I like that. It's a good option. So these guys are awesome. They're a SOFMED group, Special Operations Force Medical Group, and they go around the world. They go into places where Doctors Without Borders is like, no thanks. Right? They're completely badass, and they are involved. They do in developing nations, aka third world countries. They do no cost, 501c3, no cost, medical, dental, clinical, TCCC training, and anti-human trafficking missions. And so Refuge Medical has decided that we are going to the best of our ability, provide them with their medical equipment needs. Whatever their consumables are, gauze, tape, gloves, disinfectant, surgical kits, sutures, tourniquets, stomp bags, IFACs, whatever they need, we are going to do our best to get it to them. We are a small company, a very small company, but we punch above our weight class. And so we're partnering with them on that because they're badass. And we are badass. Us and the Bear Nation are badass. And if they are doing good works, we want to help support them in the doing of that. Now, right here on Team 5, you'll see where it says Join the Team. There's a donate button here. And I'm going to, what I got?
Oh, no, you just scratched it.
Yeah, it's a scratch. Thanks, though. I appreciate you touching my nose during the live stream. It's
welcome.
good. It's a deep and meaningful connection we have.
It is.
You'll see right here where it says Join the Team. They are looking for recurring support to the tune of $2,000 to $2,500 per month. And so if you got a $5 bill that you can commit to for the next 12 months, that helps them. We get 500 people to drop a $5 bill for the next 12 months. The reason they need that is they need a facility where they, like a warehouse, where they can stockpile all of their equipment and their vehicles so that when they deploy, and they deploy rapidly, they can have everything pre-staged, pre-sorted, ready to go, because they do disaster relief, and like a wildfire is different than a volcano, and they do both of those things, which is different than a tornado or a hurricane. They do those too. And they do, again, like I said, they do K&R, kidnapping and recovery, right? They do a lot of stuff. And depending on what the mission is, and these are, again, are a bunch of real badasses that are going out there and doing the things, depending on what their mission is, they have a different set of equipment. They have different requirements. And so they need space to pre-stage all this stuff so that their mission readiness remains high. And so they're trying to get a facility, trying to rent a facility. And after talking with Eric for an hour, Like I said, Refuge Medical and Bear Independent are going to be supporting these guys materially. But if you guys have a spare $5 bill to throw one time or recurring at Team 5, at everything they do, nobody takes a paycheck. They're an awesome, awesome organization. So you can check them out at team-5.org. Fabuloso. All right, Grindstone Ministries. There's some dude on with a beard on here. Silver linings. Well, you know what? So Grindstone, you guys know Grindstone, grindstoneministries.com. We are in the process of stacking our war chest to purchase land for Caleb House, which is our facility for the restoration and rehabilitation of human trafficking survivors. Specifically, we are working with juvenile human trafficking survivors. So if you'd like to help us do that, there is a newsletter sign up here that'll keep you up to date on what's going on at Grindstone. There's a donate now button. There's a t-shirt you can get, and if you'd like to send a check or something in the mail, you can use this contact form right here, and the administrators will let you know how to do that. Just drop them a quick note on the contact form at Grindstone Ministries. We are 100% supported by y'all, and thank you is completely inadequate for me to express how much I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate y'all supporting us in what we do. It is, yeah. It is absolutely awesome to be partnered with the Father, to be the hands and feet of Messiah, and to be supported by people who see the value in that. And so thank you for supporting us at Grindstone. We are in the pre-planning phase of another deployment for springtime. And so if you want to be involved in that deployment, you'll need to sign up here at the newsletter. And like I said, we're still diligently saving towards land for Caleb House so we can get started with building that facility as well. So we're not sitting on our, I don't know what I just did. I accidentally closed the Grindstone thing. Okay, well, we'll keep up Team 5. We're not sitting on our hands over here just hoping that things are going to work out. No, we're going and making things work out. And so, like I said, pre-planning for another spring deployment, and literally could not do it without you. So thank you. Silver linings. Quote, I was doing some house cleaning and got a decent sized cut on my thigh through my jeans. I didn't realize how bad the inch-wide cut was until I took my jeans off and realized blood was squirting, misting out of my leg. I've never had that happen and I panicked. I'm not sure why, because the frame did not scrape any arteries. Thanks to you and my interest of learning how to use a cat, I used it and it helped stop the bleeding. I probably wouldn't have died, of course, but it was the first time I had to use what I learned in real life. Praise Yah. I'm glad you're not dead. I'm glad you had a tourniquet. And, man, it just illustrates the point. Cleaning my house and had to use a cat tourniquet. So, whoa, you know, when you're downrange out there in the field outside the wire, like, no, cleaning my house, motor vehicle accident.
Washing dishes and a glass break.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Slicing vegetables for dinner.
Normal life.
Normal life.
Normal
is
life.
Why you need a medical kit.
Normal life. There should be a capable first aid kit in every vehicle. That's how we run our life on this end. And then we have one in the house, and we have, well, we have an unfair advantage. We're in the business of first aid kits, but they're everywhere. Like, they're everywhere. Let's see, another silver lining. Viewer says, quote, my mom lives in Texas, and when SHTF there, she had less than a day's worth of firewood, only a couple days of food in the pantry, and a case of bottled water. She has rheumatoid arthritis and was scared to death. I was fortunately able to get her a hotel room last minute where she and her husband were safe for the duration of the storm. Now I have her up to a 3-month working pantry, 3 days of firewood for a raging fire, and ways to collect more throughout the summer, and 7 cases and 4 1-gallon jugs of water. Also working on things like extra meds, first aid, and so on. Next time an emergency happens, it will be more like an inconvenience. Thanks again. I'm glad to be a part of the Bear Nation. Absolutely awesome. See, you're supposed to learn from these things, not just let them happen and take nothing away from it. Please continue to send your intel and your silver linings for this report to intel@bearindependent.com. And now, to the dulcet tones of angry sheep in the background, we will talk to our Creator, because angry sheep certainly sums up a large portion of my life. Oh, good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for another day here on this earth that you've made. Father, thank you for the opportunity to be your hands and feet. And Father, thank you for everybody within the sound of my voice. Father, I pray that we'd all have safe travels this weekend, that you would steward us about the face of this earth, that you would be near to us. I pray that you'd keep my people wherever they are safe. And Father, I pray that you'd keep your people wherever they are safe. Father Yah, thank you for the opportunity to do this every day, and thank you for the Bear Nation and for all these people within the sound of my voice. Father, I pray that you would protect them, provide for them, and bless them, and that you would be near to us as our Yahweh, our Elohim. Father Yah, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, we come together in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Father, be indwelt in us. Send us your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit. Father, that we might be equipped to do good works. Father, for wisdom and discernment, for strength and power and authority in the name of Yeshua, for healing, and for peace that surpasses all understanding. Father, thank you for chance phone calls, and for meetings, and for connections, all of which are by your hand. Thank you for moving the chess pieces on the battlefield of life, and thank you for allowing us to be a small part of what you do. Father, I pray that you'd continue to pour into Grindstone Ministries, that you would equip and empower us to do what you've called us to do, to be a light shining into a world of darkness, and to provide a biblical covering to orphans, and to break generational curses. Father, I pray that you would give us this day our daily bread, and that you would provide, again, provision, protection, and blessing for everybody within the sound of my voice, and that we would enter into a restful Sabbath tonight at sundown and come ever closer to you. I ask these things in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, Bear Nation. I appreciate y'all. Have an awesome weekend. Velo, Cody Willis, Network Prepper. Howitzer Hill, good morning. Good morning, brother. Howitzer Hill. Just feel the need to stretch a little bit. Oh, what is that, a Make Us patch? I think that's a Make Us patch. Oh, all right. Howitzer Hill, drop your link for the Make Us patch. All right. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Shabbat Shalom.